I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and a very special event is starting soon. The 2026 live Catalonia Carcassonne Championship, the semifinals and finals with live footage from Seu D'Urgell, north of Catalonia, bordering on Andorra. You can see this lovely city where the players are playing. I'm going to tell you about the tournament format and about the players a little bit later. As the tournament is already starting, we're going to be jumping right into the action. I just want to let you know that currently in the National Championship, there are 4 players remaining. Quim, Ventura, Pere, Vives, Dani, Ángelats, and Akbas. Dani Ángelats, who is not only a former Catalonian champion, but also the 2024 World Champion of Carcassonne, is going to be the focus of our first encounter, and he'll be playing against a newer player who is rated as an expert in online Carcassonne, but is relatively new to the competitive scene, Akbas. The semifinals and finals will be played as a best of 3. So we get to see at least 4 high-level games of Carcassonne today, and since the games have been started, hi Tocanero, hi Timrak, we will be jumping right into the action. So, Dani, the 2024 World Champion, is playing yellow here, and Ender, the challenger, is playing green. And from what I can see in this position, both players have ran through the meeples quite quick. You can see the scoreboard here. So Dani's currently has 10, Ender has 2 points. Dani just has completed this here and this here city earlier on. Ender just completed a couple of roads. We can see that Dani is drawing pretty well, right? So he's getting some points on the scoreboard, finished a 3-point road, also got this 4-point city already, 17 against 2. That's actually quite the lead, and Ender really doesn't have that much on the board. Honestly, it's already a really bad position for the play with the green meeples, because the main issue is this here city in the center. It is worth 4 points. It has 2 green meeples and 1 or yellow meeples on it, but this here square is completely blocked, so this city will never be completed, and green will be playing at a permanent meeple disadvantage here. A really quite bad position already for Ender, as Dani just keeps scoring and scoring, already at 25 points versus Ender's 4. So at this point, we'll just need to start thinking, what could Ender even conceivably do to come back? So it's currently Ender's turn. You can see his tile over here. Dani is thinking with his own tile. And the choice of Ender is to start a new road for 3 points, which I guess is legit, but I feel like when you're behind this hard, you gotta be a little bit more aggressive. And so this gives away 4 points again for a city cap for Dani. Dani is already at 29 against Ender's 4. But there are still things that green can do here. So one thing that I'm thinking about is maybe we can use roads. So look at some roads in this position. There's a shared road for 4 points with 1 green, 1 yellow meeple, and there's another road for 6 points with 1 green, 1 yellow. And if there were a hypothetical road tile over here with a 3rd green meeple, I can see how all the roads could be connected into 1 big road, and green could have an advantage of 3 meeples versus 2 and win the road for 12 points. But this is not going to happen, as green is going for something else. Honestly, it's a good decision as well. It seems like a discard of a valuable city tile with a shield on it, but what this does, it creates a monastery square, right? So there are 2 road monasteries that would fit into here, and green is just wants to gambling a little bit. Green decides that he wants to be the first to draw the 8-point monastery and try to score some easy points. That definitely makes a lot of sense. However, as green, I would have definitely preferred going over here and try to use the shielded tile myself for my own personal gain. And we can see that Dani gets the road monastery himself, but he chooses not to even go to that square, which is quite interesting. He chooses to start another monastery in this here area, leaving only one meeple in his hand, and Green finishes a city for 6 points, which is honestly already something. Dani also draws an identical tile and finishes another city for 6 points, but the net winner is still Green, because look at this farmer here, which he dropped a couple of moves ago. It's a very lucrative farm with 4 completed cities on it and a bunch of city caps that could be turned into larger cities. Still, one of them has been drawn by Green, and he kind of just deciding which of these cities to take. I don't think there is a strong preference. This is certainly a good choice because it just doesn't give anything back, scores 4 points, and already is coming closer on the scoreboard. So maybe this is one way how Green could try winning this game, is just try to control this field, develop this field, and then find a way to keep yellow out of the field. Yeah, look at all players scoring quick points, just drawing these city plus road tiles. This, however, does give back this 6-point field, this little snippet at the top, which either side can hypothetically use. So Dani now gets some quick points, I presume. That's as an interesting move. I don't think I quite understand what happened here. It seems to me that there's still a green meeple on this road, but this road was shared. So did Dani just finish the shared road but did not remove this green guy? Yeah, I'm not sure if I quite fully understand what happened. And look at Green, by the way. So Green is dropping a second meeple on the farm, just acknowledging that this platform could be used by Yellow for equalizing the farm. And so Green wants to double down on the farm, and just keep all the points for himself. And now I think I understand what happened, because it's just the camera is a little bit far away. So you see this here triple road tile. The green road, the green meeple, was actually standing on this here top segment, and it was connected right now to the shared road of green and yellow, and now scored 8 points for this here area. So no misreading of the board happened by either player. Misreading of the boards happened by just the commentators. And certainly that's a good opportunity for Green to try and come back a little bit. Yeah, that's what was a 7-point road. Green is now successfully blocking the city of Yellow, which just has been started here for 6. However, there are lots of big tiles still in the deck. There's the quadruple city tile. There are tiles like this, known affectionately as giraffe's neck in Spanish and Portuguese-speaking communities, which can still add points to Yellow without completing the cities necessarily. But I know Dani's strategy, and I think Dani's still cruising to victory here. Dani's plan is to win this game without a field. I'm pretty sure this is the case, because look at how many monasteries he has. He's already 50 points versus 30 points of Green. Green has 2 meeples on this here huge field with 7 cities, which translates to 21 points at the end of the game. But still, this only equalizes the scoreboard, and Yellow on top of this has 3 more monasteries. Monastery cluster and the scoreboard lead is pretty much impossible to overcome. And yeah, I'm not really sure what Green can do here. Certainly, Green would need to draw a lot of city caps, because this is one way how he could accumulate points without having to invest too many meeples on it. Like maybe he can draw something like a curve over here to give his field a green square. And maybe he can get a city cap over here and a city cap over here and complete a 4-point city on his field, which would net him 7 points. He can't really do nothing much with this tile. Probably the best that he can do is just 1 point for the road somehow, which he had claimed earlier on. Honestly, not really sure why he decided to claim that road. It does not appear to be particularly lucrative. Yeah, but he does get the extra points, and he even meeples a new city, which is very interesting. I think his plan is just to try and develop it into a rhombus-shaped city with a bunch of triangle-shaped tiles, or perhaps with a couple of city caps. Look at yellow in the meantime, being very technical, going for the counterfield approach. A counterfield is when your opponent has a bigger field with 2 or 3 meeples, then instead of fighting for the big field, you try find a smaller field like yellow did, which is touching now 3 cities for 9 points, which is still quite healthy for 1 meeple, but uses a smaller number of meeples to non-confrontationally claim it. And with that, it's just a very, very low-risk approach from the former world champion. All right, let me just check the chat real quick. Hi, Vajim. Hi, Elias. Yep, I see that y'all have caught on to the green meeple on the road a little bit earlier than I have. Oh, yes, and it is best of 3. All the matches in the playoff are best of 3. In fact, the top 16 players were playing today in the playoffs. And now we're only down to 4. I'm going to show you all the other players who participated today and tell you about the format more in one of the breaks. Just to make sure that we don't miss on any of the action. Honestly, there's just not all that much to miss. I mean, green is really trying to at least cut the damage. Like this move, for example, was a way to make sure that the monastery can never be completed and this city cap can no longer be claimed. Because if I calculated correctly, and this is something that players have to do in their minds as well, we're running very short on tiles like these, on the so-called dagger tiles, the city caps with the road. I think there's only one of those remaining, which still actually makes the completion of this mini city and consequently the monastery possible, just less likely. Alright, so Dani in the meantime is just doing great, developing this here city on the left. It's already worth 8 points. Green is really trying to get himself some extra points as well. And this city is still completable, I believe. So what he could do, he could get a triangle tile and maybe some sort of city cap, like the dagger. Yeah, yellow is completing yet another monastery and then starting a new city. What is that guy? I think there's a bit too much light. Ah, this is the quadruple city tile. I think it is the quadruple city tile, and green decides to discard it. A reasonable decision by Ender, and the reason why he does not want to add it to his own city, because his city is still completable, and if you add the quadruple city tile to your city, you make it bigger. Yes, you get 2 points in the short term, but you expand it so much that it becomes harder to complete. Yeah, so we can see the final dagger tile has been drawn, and obviously green is not going to go over here. This is where yellow would have wanted it. And since yellow is threatening the completion of the city, green is kind of forced to spend his last meeple to try and invade that city. Whilst Dani is just aggressively munching on quick points like there's no tomorrow. Okay, so green is not really trying to complete the city. I believe there might be a city cap still remaining, and this is what Dani is trying to calculate right now. So the most reasonable use for a curve is to place it somewhere over here to restrict the options for this green guy. And now he needs to calculate whether to orientate the curve like this, with the field side facing towards the city, or like this, with the road side facing towards the city. Let me try and also do some quick calculations. Oh, and he doesn't even bother blocking at all. So has he calculated that there are no city caps remaining at all? I am not sure if that is the case. So there are no dagger tiles, of course. There are no rose tiles. There's no city caps with the crossroads. There are no starting tiles. These here, city caps with a straight road. There are no horizontal splitters. There's no vertical splitters. So how are we doing for the regular vanilla city caps? I think maybe there are no vanilla city caps either. Yeah, and this is what Dani has calculated as well. So also quite instructive. Like, it's a very intuitive move to go here and block your opponent. But since we already had run out of tiles that fit into the square at all, Dani figured that he didn't even have to do that. Yeah, maybe there was a bit more what Green could have done with like proper calculations. For example, in this move, he could have recognized that this was the last city cap. So yellow completing this here city wasn't even a threat. And Green, in fact, could have gone over here and tried to threaten the completion of his own city with one of the plentiful Dorito tiles remaining. And in fact, he would have even succeeded. Still not enough to overcome the vast difference on the scoreboard. Really a combination of drawing well plus playing well from Dani made the game just quite easy for him. Really played by the book. Very non-confrontational, didn't try to fight for fields, just picked up a bunch of quick points, then developed a bunch of monasteries, and there's just not at all that Green could have done, except for maybe this here city. I think there might be still counting. Or maybe they have completed the counting. And the difference appears to be around 30 points. So what is like 107.73? Yeah, 30 something. They're now doing a bit of a post-mortem analysis, I presume. Trying to discuss what could have happened. Unfortunately, I believe we do not have a microphone, so we don't have audio footage, just video footage. So we will only need to interpret Catalan hand gestures. Well, I'm not sure what exactly that was, but before that, the gestures that Dani is making are along the lines of, yeah, there's really not all that much they could have done. And sometimes games of Carcassonne are like this. Like, I would say maybe 20% of the games, one side just draws well and the other side cannot do really all that much. But that is fine because this is a best of 3. So Ender still has a chance to come back. And Dani, of course, if Dani wins the next one, then he is going to be the finalist. Let me just update the score for you all real quick. Dani won. Why am I so slow? Oh yes, Dani 1, Ender 0. And we're back to game 2, which I believe is happening immediately. Hi David, hi Kaika, hi Butron. So who's the starting player now? Okay, so Ender now the starting player, getting a bit of the statistical advantage and capitalizing on that immediately, taking quick 4 points. Yellow starts a new road, very standard response. Green invades the road, also very standard response. And the first monastery tile goes for yellow. Will this be another game of yellow drawing all the monastery? Green says, I do not care, I'm just going to take all the cities. All the players exchange quick points. The new empty city cap has been picked up by yellow. So slight advantage for green due to the scoreboard and being the starting player. Being the starting player also gives an advantage later in the game to you. I'll talk about it later if I have time. Green was trying to create some inconveniences for said city, but immediately a city cap tile was drawn. Yellow catches up on the scoreboard and drops the first farmer quite wisely, I'm going to say. And immediately a farmer comes as a response from Green. This, of course, is a field with already 3 completed cities worth 9 points, and there's just a bunch of green squares. There are going to be also more green squares in the future, because eventually a monastery is going to come down over here. Whether it's a green monastery or a yellow monastery doesn't really matter. Green decides to meeple this long-term city project over here for lack of better options. One of the 2 legal moves with this inflexible quadruple city tile. Green starts a new city in a different area, and Yellow demonstrating his knowledge of Japanese tactics. This here move, sometimes known as the Pindutron or the Mochizuki maneuver, named after the 2014 world champion. The idea is that you take 2 points for the road, and you leave this empty city cap kind of as a gambit. You allow your opponent to take the city cap, which Green just did, but this creates a vulnerability in this here square. So this now, in theory, would allow Dani to try and draw a tile like this and block this meeple, if not for the serendipitous occasion that Green just immediately gets a city cap that would fit into that square. Still a rather standard sequence of moves, but so far Green is drawing pretty well in this one. Still ahead 5 points overall, at least on the scoreboard. The position is pretty much equal. Dani's picking up on quick points, now within 1 point of Green. And yeah, very, very high variance position right now. So finally Green draws a monastery of his own, takes a 6-point monastery, then leaves a road up for grabs, which Yellow can take now, but then this also means that Yellow would have to leave a city cap up for grabs. This here Yellow monastery is a very good position right now, because there are plenty of curves that fit into that square to complete it, and there are still 3 monasteries that fit into this here square to not only complete the existing green yellow monastery, but also to start another one. This move from Green is actually quite wise. This is a way to meeple this ring road to kind of anticipate the completion of this here square and not allow Yellow to get extra points when we're getting a meeple back. But look at this, Yellow's the first one to draw yet another monastery. It was a coin flip situation, of course, because either player could have been the first one to draw this monastery, but immediately Yellow completes 2 monasteries. Of course, he also completes inadvertently Green's road, gives Green 4 points, but receives 18 points himself. And now it's just a great situation for Dani yet again. 13 points extra on the scoreboard. Still, Green is doing all right. Like, Green is going to complete his monastery soon enough, but more quick points and more quick points for Dani. Already, what, 39-22, that's plus 17. So Green still has some catching up to do. Well, how can he do that? Well, first of all, we need to see what Green's tile is. It's a straight line. Pretty much the most uninspiring tile, and he found really the only productive move is just to create a little inconvenience for this here Yellow guy. And this is how Green could get some long-term advantage, because Dani also does not have a very good tile. Just not many great uses of it. I mean, he could go here and try to invade the shared road, but this is not particularly useful. Yeah, so Dani does the same thing. Kind of both players are racing for a city cap. And Green is the first one to get it. And Green not only completes the city and gets the 4 points, but also, I was going to say, restricts the city of Yellow. But Yellow also gets a city cap of his own. And so then you might wonder, maybe instead of going over here, would it have been a good idea for Green to go over here and try to invade the city instead of blocking? I don't think so. I think Green's move was correct, because you do get to block your opponent at a high frequency. Just not in this particular instance. It is quite interesting the way the players are drawing, they just kind of both drawing the tiles that they both need. So both players have started building little cities in precarious positions, but they still manage to get away with it. So green is trying to get some form of advantage, starting a new city in a way which restricts the existing city of yellow. Yellow is not too bothered, still plenty of tiles that fit into this square, and another straight line for green really doesn't give him too many options. This is a wise move with a farmer, maybe? No, decides not to drop a farmer, as it is a little bit risky, but honestly, in this position, I would not have minded a farmer like going over here and perhaps invading into the shared field. The field is only worth 9 points, but you know, it could be worth even more in the future, and just green has to get some sort of counterplay. Because really the way the situation is, both players have scored roughly equal for cities, but these two monasteries, having these two monasteries completed is just so advantageous for yellow. Alright, so a big tile for green. Plenty of productive options actually here. So the default move in the situations is exactly what Ender is doing. It looks like you're helping your opponent's city, but in reality you're just making it harder to complete, because there's only one tile that fits into this square actually. Normally there are 3, but 2 of them are already on the board. And that's why Dani's not going to even bother completing that city. Again, like in the last game, he's just going to use this city as a dumping ground for large city tiles. You know, if nothing special is happening in the position, the fact that you can just get 1 point or 2 points every step of the way is quite advantageous. And look at this. He actually gets the one and only remaining dagger tile that would fit into that square. But he has not gone there instantly. And I think the reason why he has not gone there instantly is because he knows that he doesn't really have to complete the city in order to win the game. And he doesn't even bother. He just starts a new city in a different part of the board. And once the city is completed, he's going to get 9 points. He's going to get 4 point city for the field. Sorry, he's going to get 4 points for the city, but then that completed city will create a 9 point field over there at the top for either side to grab. Maybe yellow is planning to grab it, but actually green is first here. Yellow is grabbing an adjacent field to it. Eventually they're going to be connected. I do take issue with this here move by green. I think it was more precise to turn the city cap the other way, perhaps, to the left, just to leave it alone, to make it more open, to try and score some extra points. But I can see some rationale for this. So, for example, there's still one dagger tile that fits into this square as well. So whoever draws that is going to get 4 points for this here city. And maybe the plan of green is to use other city caps for meeple retrieval over here, and then maybe get something like a straight line to try and prevent yellow from completing the city. But instead, green takes extraordinary effort to prevent yellow from completing the city, and I don't know how much I like that. Yeah, because yellow is just going to complete the city anyway. So the purpose of green's move in adding points to yellow is basically to prevent yellow from getting meeple back too easily. And now it's sort of all the same thing. But I think, well, what this will do is just kind of help yellow wait until the end of the game, you know, because he can get like a Dorito tile over here for a couple of points, and maybe another tile over here for a couple of points, and yellow still has one meeple in hand that allows them to score points. So yellow is not really in a risk of a meeple shortage. But yet again, green gets all these blocking tiles, and green really wants to trap as many of yellow's meeples as possible. And it does make some sense, actually, because if you do trap most of your opponent's meeple successfully, then you can leverage that meeple advantage for something else. But the position is so closed that the value of one meeple I'm going to say, is a maximum of 9 points. Or maybe not. Or maybe you can get even more. So, for example, as green, you have so many options here right now. I think Ender is considering doing something like this, where he drop a farmer on this 3-point field, then connect over here, and then connect over here and try to overrun the emergent farm with a 2 versus 1 majority. And maybe even, yeah, you know what? I think green must have missed an opportunity, because green could have even played for the second road monastery tile. Green could have even tried gambling and anticipating a 9-point monastery over here, trying to draw that tile. Finally, green gets a meeple back, 12 points, 3 for the road, 9 for the monastery. Still not quite catching up with Dani, and also we need to remember that Dani has all these points for these here cities, which does not look like a lot, but together they add to 15 or something, which is really no joke. So green is currently ahead several meeples. We can see that Dani gets the road monastery, which is going to be huge for his winning chances. And the lowest variance move here is just to score 2 points. I do not think Dani can afford meepling a monastery, even though going over here for 7 points is super tempting. There's still so many tiles until the end of the game that spending your last meeple is unproductive. And we're kind of running short on road tiles, so if you go here with the monastery, despite the fact that you only need 2 tiles to get your meeple back, it's quite difficult to get your 2 tiles, and this configuration is quite easily blockable. Yeah, this is quite interesting. Like, I'm pretty sure that Dani is going to take 2 points, because he has shown the willingness to go low variance when he's ahead. He has a comfortable lead of 12 points. He's gonna bring it to 14. Then he has what? 15 extra for cities. That's 29. And then green will need to find a way how to make up 29 points with his extra 2 meeples. And I can think of a way to make 9 points per meeple. Yeah, so you can make 9 points by going here and invading this field. And then perhaps you can make 9 points here. But this move by Dani, I actively dislike. I think Dani has just opened up himself to a slight chance of losing this game. It's a slight chance, but still a chance. Green now gets more meeples back, extra points on the scoreboard, but we're running short on time to use his 5 meeples. But fortunately for Ender, Dani has inadvertently given green an opportunity to take advantage of those meeples. And again, I think Dani now missing a move, perhaps. Instead of these 2 points, I would have sacrificed 1 point and would go over here to try and make sure that my monastery stays completable. Because there was still a curved tile that goes over here. There's still, I think, something like a straight line that goes over here, and so on and so on. But basically, the reason why I didn't like the 6-point monastery is because it is very easily blockable, and it also expands the shared field, which used to have 3 cities, but now it has this 4th city, so it's worth 12 points. And instead of this move, what green could have done, I believe, is to go over here, drop a farmer, and block the monastery of yellow, and then also invade the field at the same time. In the meantime, Dani is just cooking so hard at the top. He's now threatening the completion of another city as a result of drawing a splitter tile, which forces green to add even more points to yellow's features. Just because there's still city caps in the deck, and green is just trying to avoid yellow, cashing in on a 14-point city and multiple and a meeple back. Certainly something he cannot afford. And Dani decided that he's going to keep the city project alive. He uses this big city tile elsewhere to score 3 points for the road. I mean, Ender needs to do now something very, very drastic. I mean, at some point, Well, first of all, he needs to turn over his tile because he's required to do so by the rules. It's a splitter tile. It's a good tile, but what do you do with it? It's just not the most productive tile in this particular position. I guess he can go here, sacrifice 1 point by adding it to his opponent's city, and drop a farmer over here and try to use a road tile to invade the shared 12-point field from this area. But it's an underwhelming use of a splitter, and I like this move. I like this move a lot. He's trying to develop his 6-point field to make himself have more points, more cities on it. But one thing that's the play with the green meeples is overlooking a little bit. I mean, he has multiple chances to do something in this area and to invade the 12-point field of his opponent, or from here. Like, I think he needs to invade that 12-point field at least at some point. Dani's with the monastery, which he obviously is not going to claim because it is his last meeple. And the main idea that Dani is deciding, oh, I don't know why he would do that. I mean, it's a 5-point monastery and everything. But I really wonder, why did Dani decide that it's safe to spend his last meeple? Maybe it's not that bad, actually, because you know what? There are only 6 tiles remaining. So Dani's only spent 3 moves meepleless. He got 6 points from that move, 1 for the previous monastery and 5 for the new one. And maybe there's just not all that much that he could have scored otherwise. Yeah, he also gets a couple of extra points for both of the monasteries. And green now is going to need to start spending all the many meeples that he has. Probably going for a 5-point city would be the best option. Just here somewhere. This is what we're going to see. Yep, exactly. Choose either orientation, of course. But this just does not look like it's going to be enough. And now Dani is trying to count up all the remaining tiles. Look at his eyes moving. Yeah, you can even see, like, from left to right, from left to right. It's a very common counting technique. And I think he was trying to figure out whether there was a city cap remaining. Yeah, and there was. So look at this move. He added 2 points to his uncompletable city. But the most important purpose of this move was to prevent this here guy, the green guy, from going over here and completing the city with a city cap. So what could have green done? Not really sure. Maybe green could have gone over here instead and turned the city the other way, and then with the starting tile they could have gone over here and completed their city like this. I doubt that this would have been enough. But let's see if they have any contingency plans. Yeah, Ender has run down his clock to 3 minutes. Both players start with 15 minutes. There isn't really all that much that he can do. Just trying to make sure that the last move that he ever gets to play in the 2026 Catalonia Carcassonne Championship is a good move. Yeah, also I realized that I could have made the screen a little bit bigger. I will make sure to do that for the next game that we're going to watch. So I'm not sure exactly if we get to see a bit of the other semi-final, which is now going on between Pere Vives, who's also a former national champion from 2021. I believe I'm going to need to double check that. And Quim Ventura, who is a newer player, but also an expert in online Carcassonne at least. Or if the other semi-final has already finished and we're going to be headed straight to the finals. Alrighty, so the handshake has been exchanged, and I believe that yellow has prevailed here, but we're going to need to count up the points. The score difference is certainly going to be much, much less significant than last time. Green still going to have the advantage on the fields. It's the same pattern of green having all the field stuff, but yellow just having loads of cities and the advantage on the scoreboard. Oh, you'd be surprised to just how many points those cities add up. It's like 24, if I calculated correctly. So 9 points for the city at the top, and 5 points for the city on the right. That's already 14. And 23, yeah, sorry, 23 city points total. So just an illustration how incompleted features can really do a lot in Carcassonne. But these were not just incompleted features, they were all threats. And lots of these tiles, those are little points, those were added by green. So for example, look at this here tile and this here tile. 2 shielded tiles were added by green to yellow just to prevent yellow from completing that city and getting a meeple back. And also 2 tiles which green could have added to his own cities. So yeah, it was a very, very difficult game for Ender, and I wonder if there's anything particular he could have done. And we can see that there's a spectator rotating his index finger around the area, probably indicating that something could have been done. For those viewers who can speak Catalan hand gestures, do let me know, do inform in the chat if you understand what that means. Yeah, we can see the beard of Ender for a split second. And that is going to be it for the finals. Yeah, I think it was a really, really difficult situation for him, not just playing against the former world champion, but also not drawing like spectacularly well. I think he drew decently. I think the main thing that Ender could have done is just taken more risk in this game. Maybe trying to, instead of blocking his opponent, he would have just simply tried hoping that his opponent is not going to get his tiles immediately, and then done a little bit more for himself, maybe tried to invade the fields a little bit more aggressively, a little bit of something. It's kind of felt that Ender was sort of playing a normal game, making like reasonable moves, but maybe it was time for some unreasonable moves. As a result, the lead of roughly like 10-15 points, which was throughout the game, was even further extended by Dani to, what's the difference? 22 points, which is again a closer game than last time, but still not close to make Dani sweat. In any case, congratulations to Ender for their spectacular performance, being having way less experience than I think most players in the semifinals, and certainly less experience than Dani Ángelats, the 2024 World Carcassonne champion, I need to remind you. And now Dani will be waiting for his opponent. Yeah, by the way, just wanted to point out, look at this coaster here. For those of you who are watching on phone screens and might not see, it says "Play with Meeple, meet new people," with little Catalan Meeple here on the left. And then this here custom tile, I think it has to be some sort of Catalan landmark, but do explain me if y'all know. All right, I'm going to update the score, and then I'm going to check what our next plans are. If we get to watch the second semifinals, or if we're taking a little break and watching the finals instead. All right, so currently Pere Vives is losing 0-1, so which means that Quim Ventura, the newer of the two players, is one step away from making his first ever finals of the national championships. Okay, so then okay, so the messages that I'm getting from the organizers is that there will be indeed an attempt to stream the semifinals, but here's what's happening. So they're now finishing the second game on the other table, and obviously we don't want to interrupt that. If Quim Ventura wins, then this means that the match will be over and we can move on straight to the finals. If Quim Ventura loses and Pere wins, this means that the second table will be going into a decider, and then we'll probably going to watch that decider, and there have to be a little break. But don't go anywhere. I want to use this extra time that we have to tell you more about the formats of the tournament. So let me just go here. First of all, again, wanted to show you the location of Seu D'Urgell in the northern part of Catalonia. You can see all those mountains over here, very close to Andorra. The formats of the championship was actually quite interesting. It's a long-term event, and today is just the climax of that event. So first of all, it started as a Catalan league. In order to even qualify for today's event, which you would need to do, you would need to participate in 4 events in different Catalonian cities. And where I think you play, I'm not sure how many games, but it has to be anywhere between like 5 and 10 on a given day. And this what happened sort of weeks and weeks before the championship. You can see all the players who participated, and the top 16 were the players who qualified for today. 16 out of 48 players. Then the top 16 players were divided into a normal playoff. So this morning we had this many, and now we have only 4, well, only 3 technically. I just want to go through some notable names. So first of all, of course, Dani Ángelats, a former world champion. David Bourdois, I think the highest rated player online in Catalonia, and a former captain of the Catalonian online Carcassonne team in European and World international tournaments. Of course, Pere Vives, former national champion, still alive. Nuria Casanovas, last year's national champion, possibly the strongest female player in the world. And Tony Soler, also former national champion, and then several other members of the national team. Dani Garcia, Eduard Yorca, Miriam Lopez, I believe, is actually playing for the Spanish national team instead of the Catalonian one, but she's participating in the Catalonian Championship. It's also an interesting system where, let me just check real quick if there are any updates on Game 3. Okay, so I get an update that there are 4 tiles left in the second game, and it's very tight. So we will find out whether there's going to be a decider soon or not. But in the meantime, I just want to keep telling you about the format. So the way this works is that regardless of your residency within Spain, you, at the start of the year, need to choose whether you're participating in the Spanish National Carcassonne Championship or in the Catalonian one, and you can't choose both. And there is a bit of overlap, but most players typically choose the tournaments closer to their residency. And then, you play in those leagues. And then if you qualify in the top 16, then you get a ticket to today's event, which we are now watching. Oh yeah, I think I showed you this. All the players and their results in the earlier stages of the tournament. Here you can see the 16 players that started today's playoffs, and now we're down to 4, technically 3. Wow, look at this. Pere Vives somewhat unexpectedly lost 2-0 against Quim Ventura, so definitely big congratulations to Quim. That is their highest ever performance in an in-person tournament, and they'll be playing against Dani Ángelats in the finals. Now we just need more info as to when exactly the finals is happening, but I don't think there was a big break planned or anything. Yep, I indeed also get confirmation from the organizers that Pere lost 2-0. And I get a confirmation that 10 minutes before the final. And so we are going on break until, let's say, 15:25 my time, so that would be 16:25 Catalonian time or 14:25 UTC. Let me actually just leave. Let me leave this footage with you. And let me... I'm just looking for my... for something to put on the screen. Oh yeah, there we go. Right, so see y'all in about 10 minutes for the finals. I wish good things to you who is still watching this. I'm still Alexey, and this is still the final day of the 2026 Carcassonne Catalonia Championship, live from Seu D'Urgell, close to the border of Andorra. We are currently not in the finals, we're in the bronze medal game, which is going to be played as a best of one between Pere Vives, the former national champion who lost in the semifinals against Quim Ventura, and between Akbas, whom we saw in the semifinals against Ángelats, who also was defeated 2-0. They're going to play as a best of one. Ender is going to be on the left, and Pere is going to be on the right. So this is the info that I have. And to the best of my knowledge, they're starting in 2 minutes, which leaves me with just one small thing that I wanted to show you. Just wanted to show you the picture of all the 4 semifinalists that we're walking today. On the left is Dani Ángelats, the 2024 national champion and 2024 world champion of Carcassonne as well. Pere Vives is second, also former national championship. I just keep forgetting which years. I think it was 2021, but I could be wrong. And then the 2 newer Carcassonne experts, Quim Ventura, one of the 2 finalists who's going to be playing Dani Ángelats, is in the middle, and on the right, at the very right, we can see Akbas, who is now going to be playing Pere for the bronze medal game. And they have already started. So, okay, the choice of meeples is actually quite interesting. So Pere has his custom gray meeples. And Pere was the starting player, I believe, with the road tile. Then green Ender just finished as 6-point city. Pere already has one of the first monasteries, well, the first monastery of the game, and the first farmer of the game, whilst also extending his monastery. Oh, let me just make it a little bit bigger. Okay, this time I remember. So yeah, pretty normal moves at the start. I guess this early farmer might surprise some of y'all, but in Iberian Carcassonne, it is very, very common. Perhaps in places like East Asia, it is more common to delay. But Pere, when he sees, one completed city, second waiting to happen, third waiting to happen, loads of green squares for future development, he just figures he's going to drop a farmer. Even though it's a very early commitment, this field does have a lot of potential. And there can be upsides and downsides to this approach. This move from Pere surprises me immensely. I'm not quite sure why he would go for this 5-point monastery when there was a chance to go here with a stacking approach. I'm really shocked, honestly. And would be very curious to hear Pere's opinion after the game. Wait, what did I do? Did I write the names wrong? Oh, no, I did not write the names wrong. Quim is the finalist, yeah. I did not write the names wrong. It says Ender and... and Pere, who are playing for the bronze medal. Again, just a reminder to y'all who's happening. This is the bronze medal match. Pere Vives with gray meeples against Enter with green. And later we're going to have the finals between Dani Ángelats and Quim Ventura. The players must have had a little bit dispute about the order of moves. That has now successfully been resolved. Green is currently a little bit ahead as a result of completing this here city as well. Pere now successfully defends his monastery for being blocked, which is, by the way, something he wouldn't have to do had he just gone for the stacking approach straight away. Really, really curious about that decision early on. And by the way, had Gray gone over here, this would not have allowed Green to complete and develop the city too easily. It also would not have allowed for this monastery to have become vulnerable. This move, again, is quite interesting from Pere. I wonder why he chooses to go here directly, whereas the standard move is to do what he wanted to go first. Perhaps even meepling the road, which looks a little bit crazy, but, you know, it sometimes works. Because at the start of the game, you can sometimes get away with pretty crazy stuff. So what I'm looking at this is that there's still so many road tiles available. There's still 6 straight lines, there's still 4 crossroads, and there's still 3 starting tiles remaining. And the 3 starting tiles remaining, that's the crucial stuff. So if Gray were to have gone over here and tried, for example, to overtake this big road, it's actually quite difficult for his opponents to do anything about it. So what we see here is that Pere's second monastery is being threatened, but he is not too worried because he successfully managed to block the city of Ender. This is hugely, hugely important. And look, Pere didn't even hesitate sacrificing a shielded tile just to not allow Ender to get a meeple back. 5 points city over here will be forever, 6 points city over here, sorry, will be forever trapped at 6 points. And Pere again now doing the same thing. Oh, but look at this. Immediately a dagger tile has been drawn. There were still 3 of those available. It's not like crazy luck or anything, but I wonder if this will make Pere go on tilt, because it's certainly an unpleasant occurrence. 28 points already, many completed cities, and now Pere probably really needs to go over here, protect his monastery, and set up a Romo tile, set up a road monastery tile. Yeah, he knows how to do this. He needs to catch up on the scoreboard a little bit, and he's not dead or anything. I mean, he has a position which is slightly worse. Being minus 20 on the scoreboard is not great, but the monasteries are a lot. He has the starting player advantage. He has the advantage on fields, at least on one of the fields. Oh, but this is going to hurt a little bit. And now, Ender is restricting. Wait. Ender is restricting this here city. And most important, what he does, like, it makes it not possible for Pere to go here, develop his city, and drop a farmer later. Yeah, because the thing with dropping an early farmer like this, and again, I think it was a perfectly decent move, your opponent gets to decide whether they want to fight for the farm or whether they want to develop a different farm of their own. And Green has just gone the second approach, and currently Green's farm is basically better than Gray's farm. Pere is now trying to create inconveniences for the player with the green meeples. Finally gets to complete his own city, catch up on the scoreboard, and still renew the threat of finishing the city and dropping a farmer. But Green has the same threat. Green could complete his city soon enough. Also wanted to point out this wonderful move by Green, indirectly picking up the 6-point road. And Green also gets the first Romo of the game. This is huge. Green now has a lot of advantage, and now also taking 2 points and creating an inconvenience for Pere's city in the north. Yeah, look at Pere's arm movement. He's a bit tilted. I can see he's a bit tilted, perhaps still grieving his loss in the semifinals, whereas Ender appears to be quite calm. All right, Pere catching up on the scoreboard. Minus 14 only. And still a chance to, still definitely a healthy chance to win this game. I think the best chance that I can think of would have something to do with the fields. Oh, check this out, check this out. Yeah, so this is a good move by Pere. I mean, he's first of all going to do a tactical approach. Right? He's going to try and basically block this here. A green guy, right? So there are just not that many city cap that fit into the square, and we could try restricting them. But there is a way to get into the field, and I think if Pere goes over here at some point and drops a farmer, he gets to go here later on, and here later on, and he's going to connect a second meeple to share all the 12 points that green has, and he's going to get this here meeple, which he invested earlier, all the way through here. It's not that far-fetched, and he's going to get a majority on the field. I think this is how Pere can win this game. He just got to use his long-term meeple advantage, use the fact that this here green meeple is stuck at 6 points, use the fact that he has one extra player here, and just make sure that he gets the majority on the field. So that's why, if I'm green here, I'm also a bit worried that my city here has been restricted. There are now 2 tiles remaining that fit into the square. 2 daggers, like this. I'm not sure if y'all can see, but there's still 2 tiles. And it means, from my perspective, if I'm green, that if I ever get that meeple back, it's going to be a long wait. And so now I'm not really going to have enough firepower to fight for fields. So the best thing I can do is to try and maybe block off the fields to make sure that it never gets united into one of those fields, into one big field. So maybe if you go here with the city side pointing that way, I mean, you can't really see what the tile is in the hand of Ender. But instead he chooses to try and create a blocking threat against Pere's city. But Pere immediately gets a tile that is suitable for him to expand his city and now turn it into a real completable threat. This was a hugely important sequence of events because now Pere has one more way how he can win this game. If he now goes over here, for example, and just goes for a normal completable city for, let's say, 14 or 16 points, he will gets enough points to pretty much compensate the entire scoreboard, and then he doesn't even really have to win the field. Instead, I think Pere makes a move which I don't really like. This move just doesn't do that much. Yes, it was attempting to block this road, but this also would have blocked his own monastery, and it's just really not all that much. Now, Pere gets a dagger tile that fits into the square, where of course he's not going to put it. This is where his opponents need this. This also means that green has only 1 tile remaining to get his meeple back. And if he doesn't get it, he's going to be at a severe meeple disadvantage. So gray is trying to finish his city at the top, still banking on the fact that there are several city plus road city caps. Ender just taking quick points, but I'm not sure if he's fully realizing that he is bringing potentially the meeple of gray all the way through here. Okay, gray successfully completed the city and is now ahead on the scoreboard. So suddenly, green is probably not feeling all that well anymore. Because look at this, gray also has this 9-point field, which more than compensates for this 6-point blocked city. And green still has a long wait to get the 1 remaining tile that fits into this square. And there's a chance that he's not going to get it at all. Now I wonder what the players are discussing. I wonder why they didn't stop the clock. Okay, I think I know why. Check at this guy. It looks like a farmer, but it looks like an illegally placed farmer, because obviously you're not allowed legally to move over here, since this farm has already been occupied by gray. But the way Carcassonne rules works, if somebody makes an illegal move, and if your opponent doesn't notice in time, then the illegal move stands. So I believe this is what they must have been discussing, because, like, how else? How else, right? I mean, this farmer over here... right, that was placed recently. I'm not going crazy, right? That was placed after this monastery placement, which means that it was illegal. Okay, so this is fun turn of events. So yeah, Elder is gonna get away with something here, because this farmer actually benefits him quite a lot. I mean, first of all, he's gonna share the 9 points with Pere. And then there's the threat of connecting even one more farmer. And trying to expand the possession of this here green guy. Pere is not too bothered. He figures that even if the field gets bigger, he's still going to have to fight for it. And because there's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 remaining curves, he could potentially go here and drop a farmer and try to get one of the 2 remaining curves with a 75% chance to invade into the field through here, through the monasteries. Now, since we see that a curvy tile is in green's hands, it is a bit less likely to happen. But it's a curvy tile with a city cap, so it's not a regular curve. Yeah, so still 2 regular curves that fit there. Again, because gray is the side with the meeple majority, he has a lot of options, has a lot of flexibility, and certainly he can do a lot of field invasions if he so chooses. He takes some quick points for now, which again, I think maybe is okay, but it's like a little bit inefficient, because certainly a move over here was super tempting. To just drop a farmer and then try to get a straight line or similar and score not 2 but 3 points for the road and simultaneously invade over here. And this is a great move by Pere. He does drop the farmer in the exact location that I was talking about, and he has 2 routes of invasion. One is through here with the curve that I told you about, and the other one is through here, I guess, with another curve. So this other route doesn't really add all that much, but the idea is that if he gets the first curve, he can go over here and claim the 5-point road in addition to connecting himself to the field, and then he can even complete that 5-point road, turn it into a 6-point road, and get meeples back. Yeah, and this, I guess, I was going to say kind of forces green to start attacking the farmer, but forces maybe is a bit of a strong word. Pere is picking up quick points, so does Ender. And by the way, also to rub it in, this was the final tile that fit into this here square. So this meeple is not seeing a light of day. And look at Pere playing, I think, quite dangerously. He decides to get himself an 8-point monastery. But the idea behind that 8-point monastery, of course, is to not only point, but also to unify all the fields. Which means that this farmer now just has to invade over here, because if not, Pere is going to lose a huge field, and his 2-point advantage on the scoreboard is not going to do all that much. But I think if green gets a good tile, he might actually just... No, don't do that, 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 don't do that. He might actually just have some winning chances. So this idea from green, it only works if you place a meeple here on the road. And the idea behind this is this. Hey, I know this is trying to invade me, so I'm going to get a compensation meeple on the road. And if you get a curvy tile that fits over here, then you will be forced to complete my 6-point road and give me meeples back for invasion. I think this is something that actually would be quite good. That could work really well. If you just go here and you don't place a curve in this, and you just don't place a meeple, well, then all you've done is effectively helped your opponent score more points for the road. But I do like the idea with this compensation meeple, right? Well, that also works just as well. He's trying to drop a farmer of his own, trying to invade over here. Pere, of course, is going to try to restrict that farmer, but there's still 2 curves, and he gets one of those curves. And Pere now really needs almost a miracle. And I think there's a way, if I know the remaining tiles correctly. No, not like that. I was going to say that there's a way to pretty much force a win. Yeah, I was going to say that there's a way to pretty much force a win with any tile draw that green is going to have. Green is going to win this big time. So instead of this move, green could have been just a bit more precise. Green could have gone over here instead. Over here was going more precise, trying to block this route of invasion into the farm. And with that idea, with only 1 curve remaining in the deck, gray would have needed the curve in 2 places, here and here, and you know, you can't put only 1 curve in 2 places. But yeah, I think Pere is going to lose this just because the field is so big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 21 points. No, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 completed cities on the field translate to 24 points. And yeah, there we see it. An 8-point victory. 8 points victory for Ender. 80 against what? 73. Yeah, a rough start for Pere. I think maybe a couple of missed opportunities, maybe an idea of stacking monasteries. But then also the end felt that the position was so good for Pere. You know, like open field and 3 meeples, and he just kind of bound to take away those farming spots. But he didn't get any curve to connect. And then I think this here platform was left just a little bit unattended. Not sure if Pere could have done something. You know, I think he could have done something. You know what? I think maybe the natural road monastery move, going there for 8 points, was just a little bit too much, right? Even though Pere was just trying to score very hard, in his position, he didn't really have to score very hard. All he had to do was just get points and maybe win not the big field, but just like the little field at the top, which was worth 9 points. And even that would have been enough because he had the majority of 3 meeples left. You can get at least 6 points per meeple because there were, I know, a bunch of things that he could have picked up on the board. But instead, I think it's just going on the farms, which has reduced his winning chances. So all their natural moves, but yeah, just ended up quite not working out. Anyway, we congratulate Ender for taking down really one of the strongest players in Catalonia objectively and getting his first ever third place finish in the championship. All right, so okay, you said the title is covering the clock. No, honestly, I'm actually not sure what to do about this. I'm sorry, I think it's just gonna be like that. I mean, I can remove the... No, I don't want to remove the title. It's important for those who are just joining. Okay, first of all, let me just... fine, I think I can remove it. Okay, so... Final... Best of 3 is about to start. Then what else do I need to change? It's not going to be Ender. Wait. So it's going to be Dani, Ángelats on the left, I think? No, it's not going to be Dani. Dani Ángelats is on the right. Sorry, everything's just so fast-paced. Dani, Ángelats. And Dani Ángelats, of course, going to be playing his traditional yellow. Oh, Dani is going to be black. Okay. Oh, this is a bit more difficult. Actually, I think it's doable. So this is going to be Dani on the right. And whom we have here, Quim, Quim Ventura is going to be yellow on the left. Okay, we can follow that. Oh, wait, not that. Yeah, wait a second. Yeah, there we go. That is prettier. So this is the final. This is the best of 3. They're starting. Time to just get back in it. Nope. Wait. Where am I? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Again, both players are playing pretty fast. Let me just make this a little bit larger. Dani has scored 4 points for this here city with the black meeples, and Quim plays the yellow meeples and has already a fantastic position. Getting the first monastery of the game is always an advantage, but getting it for 8 points immediately and with a super protected square over here, this is just something else. Oh, look at this beautiful, beautiful tile run out. 12 points, just like it's nothing. 9 for the monastery, 3 for the road, but Dani is going to get 4 points and probably even drop the first farmer of the game. Yeah, there we see a proper Iberian. This farmer is definitely justified. I mean, it's already 1 completed city, 2nd, 3rd, 4th waiting to happen, loads of green squares for future development. Still, yellow, that's Quim, has the advantage here. This is a lot of points for the road, 6 points for the road. I think Dani, you're with an imprecision, really. So you don't want to initiate a block in these sort of positions. Like when you have a city meeple like this, you want to be a little bit patient. The standard approach that gives you the best blocking probabilities is to actually wait until a city tile and then finish your city and then create the blocking threat against the square. So Dani gets punished for his impatience as Quim gets the 2nd monastery of the game and gets to meeple it beautifully for 5 points, then covers up his city, for which there's still 6 remaining tiles in the deck that fit there, also controls the little city cap of black. Black completes that city anyway, drops a 2nd farmer, which is very wise, which is something that you want to do when your opponent has monasteries, or generally when your opponent has setups, right? Because your opponent is waiting for this critical tile, and your opponent's going to get a lot of points on the scoreboard. And what black is trying to do here is to get some form of long-term compensation, and the lead, an early lead on the farm with 2 meeples against 0, is certainly a good way to do it, since this farm will be big enough to be worth the investment of 2 meeples at the very least. And possibly down the line, yellow will have to make a difficult decision whether to fight for the field, where he would have to drop not 1 but 2 and possibly 3 meeples, or whether to leave it alone. This decision is maybe not that difficult anymore because yellow just immediately got, well, very quickly got a tile that he needed to finish the city, and that was ahead 10 points. It's going to finish monastery soon. Black also has a monastery. Yellow still is a better position due to the extra road of yellow. But still, like, black is not out of it by any means. So black, for example, can threaten this here city. And not really sure what yellow can do about it. Actually, yellow can do something about it. So there's several options. Option one, we just calmly go here, continue our road and start a new city. And with that, we also create an additional square from which we can attack or block. Then we can just go here straight up, which would be restricting this here square at the top and then also putting some pressure on this here square as well. Both moves look pretty good because those both are dual purpose moves. I also like the first move maybe a little bit more because it's creates a counter field here potentially. Like one of the yellow's approaches to win this game was maybe to do something that Dani did to his semi-final opponent, where you don't actually try to fight for a big field, but instead you create a smaller field somewhere else. This approach is certainly very, very legit. So making a move to try and damage two of his opponent's squares, now also a dual purpose move again, continue his road, and then creating a better square to create inconveniences for his opponents. And Dani now gets a very, very interesting tile. So many good uses to it. Really curious to see what he does with it. So he chooses to place it in a square where it most fits. Now really creating the threat of completing this city. And look at Quim very quickly making a decision which is okay, but one which is very, very not obvious. So he chose to invade this here city, which of course is a good thing because, you know, you need to try and prevent your opponent from getting a load of points. This city would have been worth 16 if I'm not mistaken. With a meeple back, it just would be too much to deal with. But another option was to simply turn this tile the other way and block this square and then simply block your opponent's city. Sure, black would get some 10 points, but there would be additional benefits. For example, as a result of this blocked square, there would be an opportunity to create a counter field in this here area, because then this here field would have no way, or no legitimate way, or no realistic way, or no high prob way of being connected to these here areas. And then maybe yellow could drop a meeple here or there, like that. Alrighty. In the meantime, yellow successfully connects, but this here situation is very, very volatile. And look at this. Yellow completes his monastery and also tries to not only equalize, but also win the city of, what has now become the shared city of yellow and black outright. Both players are doing well on the clock, by the way, playing very, very fast. We're halfway through, and both players have over 10 minutes on their clock, which, again, y'all might not see. Basically, very often in Iberian Carcassonne, clock is just not a factor. No, you have some very fast brains in that region. All right, so Dani now tries to get 2 points to his side of the city. Oh yeah, I didn't comment on this because this is a very natural way to respond. You know, when your opponent's trying to steal a city, then you just place another meeple opposite to it, so that there's no way to really steal a city. There's only a way to equalize. And now he's trying to just develop his side without giving a point to his opponent. This is all very natural. Yellow, in the meantime, finishes a lucrative road and also drops a counter farmer. But you see, this counter farmer is not as lucrative as it would have been had this square been blocked, because there is a way for black to get a Romo here and then to get a curve and to use his 2 meeples to get all the way over here and bully the poor yellow guy. Dani now gets a meeple back, and I'm very shocked that he decided not to farm this. I really just do not agree with that decision. it seemed like a classic opportunity to farm and try to maintain dominance on the field, because if you're black, you don't really know if you are ever going to get this here 9 points monastery. And so it could be so that this here farmer never gets connected to the main farmers. And so then, because 1, 2, 3, 4 completed cities are on there, they're on that field, it is a very lucrative farm on its own. It might just very well be worth invading. So what did I not consider? Okay, I think the fact that I did not consider is maybe at this time, black might have just not have meeples in hand. I think it might be it. All right, so Quim is not really debating what to do. I mean, he wanted to go over here for 4 points, which would be his highest scoring move, and a very natural move to play as well. The thing that he doesn't like about it is that it leaves a 6-point city up for grabs for his opponent when his opponent is starving for points on the scoreboard and has only 1 meeple to score it anyway. So typically, when your opponent has only 1 meeple, you want to deprive them of scoring opportunities, and you want them specifically to not have options for quick points. Oh, and also I legit didn't notice that there was just a higher, there was just a better option to score. 5 points over here. Yeah, of course, it's just much, much better. Dani, in the meantime, finishes a 9 points monastery, catches up on the scoreboard, and also is threatening to complete this here city and develop the field that he currently owns. Yeah, he really, really needs this field development, if you ask me, because 1, 2, 3, 4, it's what's like 12 points. These are the same 12 points that yellow has in this here northern field, except that yellow's 12 points come from the investment of only 1 meeple, not 2. So Quim is building up his city, trying to threaten things. And Quim also gets the Romo. And I know exactly what he's going to do. And the answer in this situation is you don't jump here and score 9 points. This, in fact, would be a grave mistake, which could... No, don't do that, don't do that! No, it's not worth it, man, it's not worth it, it's not worth it. Yes, these are 9 points, but look at what kind of volatility it brings. So first of all, there are still curves in the deck, and yellow's farmer could get eaten up by these here 2 voracious black farmers. It is just too much. We can't risk that. But second, there are still city caps with a road. What you've done right now is that you've given your opponent a chance to finish the city with a city cap and also meeple this long road in the process of 7 points. So you might have scored 9, but you've probably lost now like 20 percentage points in win probability. A far stronger move with the lead that he had. I mean, look at the scoreboard, right? It's 61 versus 33. It was just simply to go over here, score 3 points instead of 9, but do not allow your opponent these dangerous threats. Okay, also, I think it might have been a tile miscount right now. From the play with the yellow meeples, because look at this. This move was made by yellow. It looks like a block, but in fact, there was still a tile like this in the deck, which of course yellow just fortunately drew for themselves. But had yellow just turned the curve the other way, there would have been 0 tiles to fit there. Normally, there are 7 tiles like this in the deck. There are 4 starting tiles, but all 4 starting tiles are on the deck. I'm circling them right here. And the 3 rose tiles, as they're affectionately known in the international community, but they're all over here. So it was possible to permanently block this black meeple, but instead yellow inadvertently saved it due to a tile miscount. So some very serious tactical errors right there. And honestly, I think Dani has an opportunity to turn this around. Specifically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there are plenty of curves. There are like at least 3 curves that go over here and will allow black to just eat up this yellow meeple. So again, what I mean by eat up, black here is scoring 15 points for 2 farmers if they get unified with this 1 point farmer, or with this, 1 meeple farmer of yellow, then yellow's going to lose all the points. And it's still a very likely occurrence. Hi, not Pere. So even though yellow is currently ahead, I think Dani has legit chances. All right, he gets a curve. And he uses this curve to try and block this square. Because I believe there's still 1 dagger tile that fits there. Dani's trying to protect, which makes all the sense in the world. And look how wise that protection move was, because if not for this monastery move, yellow could have gone over here, permanently blocking the square, but now yellow can't. And I'm trying to think, what should yellow do even? Like, is there a way to get 100% win? Maybe a way for yellow to do this is to do something weird, like to go here and drop a farmer, with the idea that if your opponent gets a curve to eat up this yellow farmer as we're talking about, then we can get another road tile to go over here and equalize, and to have a big field with 2 black and 2 yellow meeples per side. So there are 4 tiles remaining in the deck, and this endgame should be solvable, realistically. So what do I mean by solvable? Basically, you have 4 minutes on the clock. You just need to know what the 4 remaining tiles are, and run through all the possible scenarios, how the tile could be drawn. There's a maximum of 24 possible scenarios, as about to like the order in which the tiles could be drawn. And some of those scenarios are pretty similar. So I think... Раз, два, три, четыре, пять, шесть... Wait, is it possible that like 3 out of the 4 remaining tiles are curves? I think 3 out of the 4 remaining tiles are curves, which means that yellow has 1 move available to him that wins at 100% frequency, and this move was indeed the one I told you about. So to go over here, to drop a farmer preemptively, assuming that black is going to go over here, and then you try to invade again. Because black now has a winning sequence, I think. No, black does... Yeah, black does have... Oh, this also works. This is actually quite beautiful. And now Dani needs to choose, right? I don't think... No, don't go there. I think Dani could have gone here first. Right? I think what Dani could have done instead, he could have delayed this, and he could have tried to draw another curve. And what he should have done was going over here. Right? And try to not allow this here farmer to connect. Wait, what is he doing? What is he doing? Why can't he just go here? Like, why can't he just connect his farmer? I mean, I think he's gonna connect it eventually, but he's dropping another one for some reason. Whereas, like, he could have just used this tile, right? To go here and just invade with this here farmer. And I can also see why Dani went here, because I miscounted the tiles a little bit, but so did Quim. So what Dani knew is that this was the last curve. I thought there might have been a couple of more, but I've overlooked a few. They're like kind of just very small here. And Dani knew that this here tile was actually the last with which yellow could have gone over here normally and invaded like this. Oh, this is fascinating. But now I wonder if this is going to be enough for black to win. And I think it might be. It's going to be quite close. It is possible that the lead on the scoreboard is just a little bit too much because the field is not really all that big enough. So the guys, they're not going to count the shared city. Yeah, I think... yeah, look, so many 0-point farmers that have been drawn, that have been dropped. So 7 points for the monastery. Okay, so now minus 17. Yeah, this city is rather big. It's going to be 9 points. And the question is, does black have 26 points on the farmers? I don't think he does. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 completed cities. So 24. So Dani is actually going to lose this game, but just by a little bit. So with his 0-point farmers everywhere, I think Quim made it way too close for comfort. Yeah, and also, do you see that Dani is now showing, like, hey, you didn't have to drop another farmer. You could have just gone over here. And you can see the hand gesture from Quim is like, yeah, look, face covered with palms. This means, oh, like, how could I not notice this? And I think I can understand how. I think I know how this works psychologically. So when you make a move like this, you're visualizing in particular a curve, a normal curve. And when you draw a dagger tile, like a curve with a piece of city, you don't think about it that you can also use this like that. Also, we can see that Dani is now pointing out some other imprecisions, like that this move could have permanently blocked his city. And all I'm waiting to do is for somebody to point out that actually the 9 points from the monastery were also poisoned. If yellow were to have been just a little bit less greedy, yellow could have had a much more comfortable win than just plus 5 points, even though at the end of the day, a win is a win is a win. But on the other hand, had he not done so, we would not have seen such a close, exciting ending. Well, anyway, it is a best of 3, so the former national champion and the 2024 world champion, Dani Ángelats, still has a chance to catch up. Let's see if he's going to manage. I think the players are taking just a little bit, 2-minute break or something. So will we. Wait. Let me just update the score. Score update. The image is going to come back in a while. Let's not be too bothered about it. Where's my image, though? Okay, I think it should be back up. It should be all the way back up. I'm just going to ask the organizer real quick how long the break is going to be. I do see some boots on the ground moving around. I think these are not the players. This might be somebody else from the spectators. Just bear with me. We're going to find out soon enough how long before game 2. Yeah, let me actually make this even bigger. Oh, wait. Yeah, never mind, never mind. So what I need to remind y'all? I need to remind y'all, of course, if you're enjoying this stream, to meeple the like button. That would do a lot for the algorithm, more than you might think. You know, bring more people into competitive Carcassonne as a spectator sport, which is, I'd love that. In the meantime, I probably expect the match to the next game to start in. I've been informed that it's going to start in 1 minute or in 2 minute max. I think both players just want to stretch their legs a little bit. We can see some legs being stretched in the left top corner of the screen. Shoelaces. Not sure exactly whose that is. Probably one of the spectators in the town hall in the northern city of Seu D'Urgell. We get the coaster adjusted with the lovely Catalan slogan of "Play with meeple, meet new people," and a Catalan meeple in the middle, which you will probably see if you're watching this from a laptop or a tablet. Maybe it's a bit harder to see if you're watching this on your phone. There we go. We can see the victor of our first game sitting down with Dani following up. I also like to observe the different shuffling patterns that players have. So look, they're not going for the riffle shuffle. They're kind of just very carefully redistributing the tiles, making sure that there's some randomness about the redistribution. Also quite unevenly organizing them into piles. So who's going to be the starting player now? I think it's Dani's turn to be the starting player. A very hearty handshake, a bro handshake. I presume the players are familiar with each other in person as well beyond this championship. And a very non-standard opening. So yellow, this is going to be Quim who's going to be the starting player. Goes for the curve pointing down opening, where the more common approach, of course, is to point the curve up. Dani restricts the one and only open city cap, but then picks it up himself. Yellow continues his own road, starts a new city, restricts the city of black. Very standard triple purpose move. And now black needs to decide whether to continue his own road or to attack the road of yellow. I think would have preferred attacking the road of yellow, honestly, because if you make a move like this, it's as vulnerable to moves like with a straight line or with a city cap or anything that goes there that restrict two of your features at the same time. So you typically don't want to arrange your features in a way which, what was I going to say? In a way which allows your opponent to attack two of your squares at once. So this move, for example, is quite annoying. The only thing that would have done as yellow, I would have placed a meeple over here, because there are plenty of scenarios how black actually manages to continue this road. So like right now, black is going to get 4 points, of course, and be the first one to get something on the scoreboard. Oh, he's going to even meeple this 1 point piece. This is actually quite in. No, he's going to meeple the farm. It's good, it's good, it's good. But meepling the 1 piece road, 1 point road would also be interesting. Well, anyway, and now the second piece of road is kind of waiting to be picked up by black when he places something in this square, maybe a rose tile, you know, the city cap of the crossroads, such as this one. In the meantime, Dani is now picking up more quick points, trying to create inconveniences against this square, unsuccessfully so, as yellow gets to continue his city and also is trying to threaten its completion. Dani's not gonna let yellow off the hook that easily, gonna go over here. Quim will need to draw another city plus road tile if he wants to complete it. Yeah, of course, Dani knows his math, that this orientation is the most annoying one. I also wanted to point out that this here move from black was actually threatening the very existence of this here yellow road meeple, and this here move from yellow defended it. And now again we have a situation with a so-called evil hamster setup, where a road monastery fits into this square, and whoever gets the road monastery tile first is probably going to get quite a healthy advantage here. Alright, so black is now trying to create an additional vulnerability against this here square. And right back at you, says yellow. The only thing about this move is that going over here was a little bit more precise, if you ask me. Trying to block from this side, but we can quibble about that. Anyway, Dani is now in a very, very interesting situation. So he has a tile which he can use productively in 3 places, and this is one of them. I like this move the best. So he is trying to continue his city and also potentially do something nasty against this one. One other opportunity was to go here and try to block yellow instead and not allow this, but I think Dani's move was best. Another opportunity was to go here, which he does now anyway. This is to protect this here city. Make sure that there's still 3 tiles left to complete that city. Yellow, in the meantime, completes his own city in a different location. Dani continuing his city over here. I think he could have just gone here, like picked off an empty city cap. Yellow probably gonna go here for 3 points. This is the best that you can do. It also creates some nice chances of maybe drawing another city cap later on, scoring 4, and then starting to attack this black city. Instead, he chooses to invade the double shielded city of black before it becomes too threatening, and a timely move from Dani really breaking the city of yellow. Yeah, Quim is not gonna like this one, because now it's quite hard to complete this. It needs 2 quite specific tiles. Well, on one hand, this here square is unrestricted, but eventually, like, it will be blocked. Dani picking up more empty city caps, saying, hey, I know my cities are a bit vulnerable, but you just won't have time to block them all. And Quim is saying, well, this doesn't mean I won't try. And so he tries to block this one. Dani finishes the other one. And honestly, I feel like it's a very good position for black now. Yellow invades black. And black now gets his setup complete. And he's thinking what to meeple. The answer is, of course, to meeple the field. Typically, if you can't visualize what's going to happen, if you see that a field has at least 3 cities on it, you have to meeple about it, no questions asked. Why he didn't do this, especially with his tile, I have no idea. Because normally Dani is a player who's very focused on fields, you know, he's... And also, like, it's not like he has a better move anyway. He has 3 meeples, and I really don't fully understand this, because also, from Yellow's perspective, Yellow could have gone over here and dropped a farmer himself. I don't know. I think a farmer would have been totally justified. And in fact, not only justified, but also necessary. And this applies to both black and yellow. Like, well, I understand why black doesn't want to do it, because black thinks, hey, if yellow gonna get a road monastery, then this one farmer will control the other farmer on the other side anyway. But I think it would have been a good idea. But also, the reason why I would have preferred for yellow to have gone over here with this cow tile is not just because of the farm, because we see that yellow does drop a farmer here eventually. But look at what Dani's going to do. He's thinking whether to go over here for 9 points. But in this situation, he probably shouldn't, because he has an opportunity to go over here just for 5 points, but without giving his opponent a meeple back. I mean, the 9-point move is also perfectly justifiable, because it's a way to reduce variance, right? Because you know that your opponent could draw the other road monastery, which is still in the deck, and so you want to prevent them from scoring those 9 points in the future. But then a big question that you have to ask yourself is really preventing those future 9 points worth it to give your opponents a meeple back now? Because yellow could still use the extra meeple to create some damage now. I think in this case, it's very one decision is marginally better than the other. So the judgment of Dani makes a lot of sense. He figures that, you know what? Yellow has 3 meeples already. Giving them a 4th meeple doesn't really improve their position all that much. And it's important to just minimize variance, and then later maybe start invading some fields. And also, another reason that makes black want to not leave the second road monastery up to chance is the fact that black is ahead, 27 against 13 on the scoreboard, and yellow doesn't really have any threats. So this yellow city is equalizing this here black city. Finally, now yellow gets a threat, and a significant one, to finish this here city and drop a farmer even, and black has to address this. So black is not going to go over here and finish his city. He can do that later. Black is not going to go over here and finish this road. He can do that later. What black is probably going to end up doing is just going here and invading the city directly. This could have some issues, though. There's still 2 triple city tiles remaining, and if yellow is feeling adventurous, and being ahead 1-0 in the series, I would be feeling adventurous, yellow could, in theory, just go over here with a city cap and, like, create a configuration with a triple city tile that wins an 18-point city with a 2 versus 1 majority or something like that. So Dani wants to avoid that. Dani's still going to leave some chance of yellow drawing a city cap that fits here, even though this is actually quite severely restricted now. Yeah, so Dani's going to leave a chance of the city being completed, at least for now. He just does not want it to turn into a bigger city. Now, by the way, black has a chance to completely destroy this meeple. If black goes over here, which he does, a very disciplined move, does not chill out for 4 points over here, does not go and finish this here city. He blocks the square. There's nothing that fits over here. Normally, a triple city would fit like this, but all 3 of those are already on the board. It's a very nice disciplined move. Now, again, picking up an empty city cap, and now that the main threats of yellow in this position has been averted, I don't think there's anything realistic that... I don't think there's really anything too big that yellow can do in order to win this game. I mean, it's still possible, though. Okay, it's still possible. So yellow dropped a farmer here. That was quite wise. Yellow invaded the shared field. So now yellow has 2 meeples against black's 1. Actually, yeah, like, black is not that far ahead. And then another big threat that yellow has is to get a road monastery. Of course, not for this square. This has been filled. But for this square, to not only score 5 points for this road, but also to add these here 2 cities to the field and expand the field. And it's an excellent move here from the player with the yellow meeples. I did not see that coming. That is so beautiful. He does not go for 3 quick points. Instead, he pre-meeples a much longer road. He's now waiting for one of the 4 remaining straight lines to get himself as many as 7 points. So he's being just more efficient. He could also get a crossroads to get 8. Dani, in the meantime, is also being efficient and aggressive. Look at this move. He did not want to go over here and finish his existing city. Instead, he picked up a new one and now has 2 threats. One for 10 points over here and one for 6 points over here. Straight line for Dani now has several options, and I see 2 main options. This here move from yellow is quite interesting. It is trying to connect all the cities and maybe create an opportunity to use what has now for some reason become his meeple advantage, to go over here and invade the city with a 3rd meeple. Yellow also got a straight line and is catching up on the scoreboard. Not only did he get 7 points, he also expanded his field, bringing this here little castle all the way to this here yellow guy. In the meantime, this here move was very good by Dani. It's a 5-point road. Basically, you just prevent your opponent from scoring too many quick points. And the idea of yellow is now revealed. He now does indeed gets himself another city meeple and is trying to fight for a big city with no intention of completing it. But even if he does not complete it, if he just gets something like a quadruple city tile here, perhaps, he's going to have, what, 11 points at the very least, possibly 12, possibly 15. So what Dani's trying to do instead, he gets 2 points for the monastery, but also creates an attacking platform against the square. Also, look, quadruple tile. Commentator called it prescient. Elias is asking, am I streaming Copa America after this? Yes, there is going to be another stream. I'm streaming the finals of Copa America, a different tournament, a team tournament in Carcassonne, happening in the other side of the world. More about this later. Crafty says, I see 35 tiles on the board, 35 curvy tiles on the board. This must, I'm not sure what that means. It must be a reference to something I misspoke. So yeah, yellow has a splitter now. This is the last splitter of the game, and yellow would be relieved, let's say. Because black could use the splitter hypothetically in 2 ways. Black could go over here and maybe invade the city, equalizing it, or black could just use the splitter as a city cap, finishing one of his many open cities. This move is a bit of an imprecision. I think it was better to go not here, but here first. Because what I see now is that there's this here square open. And black could, in theory, go over here and attack this here city from this here side. So I think what yellow should have done, yellow should have placed these tiles in this here area to make sure that this is not possible. All right, now we see the last meeple placed on the board. Dani now realizing that, you know what? Despite me being ahead on the scoreboard, like, our opponent has way too many points for cities and way too many points for fields we need to catch up. So he goes for the monasteries. But a beautiful tile, 7 points, 4 points for the city, 3 points for the farm. Yellow is catching up so hard. Dani does not have any meeple. Dani needs a city cap, but he does not get a city cap. He gets a straight line, of which, like, what are we going to do with straight line? I have no idea. We could, in theory, continue this road, but that would not be very good. Yes, this move at least does something. It's kind of like creates an opportunity to perhaps get a meeple back and invade this road in the future. Another quick point tile for yellow. And several opportunities here. I think the most natural move in this position is to go here, take 2 points, and also set up a 4-point road, which only you can claim because only you have meeples. An alternative is to do something like that, which is pretty similar, except that it also drops a city cap in your field. I think this move, the most natural move, is best. Oh, right. Gotcha. Thank you for explaining your comment. Yeah, indeed, the visuals of this edition are not the easiest one to follow because look at this, the straight lines are also a little bit curved, but you know, the visuals are the same for both players. Yeah, look at this, just quick points and quick points and quick points, and now Black just can't get a city cap for the life of him, and another city cap goes to Yellow, and now Black has only one tile remaining to play, and poor Dani, I think he's going to lose this. Like, he didn't cash on any of his setups, he didn't draw no crossroads, no city caps, and he just does not get any meeples back, and I don't even know what to say. I don't think you can fault Black for any of the moves here, really. It's just really, really tough drawing. So Quim is one tile away from potentially his first ever national title. All he needs to do is not lose on time, but he still has over 4 minutes remaining, so I think he's fine. Dani has over 7. Three minutes. On the clock of Quim. Oh yeah, of course he just needs to do something. He decides to block his opponent and... Oh, so he still had the last tile available from somewhere. Yeah, as his last move, Dani retrieves a meeple. But unfortunately, he just does not have any chance to use his last meeple because there are no more tiles remaining. That's a situation resented by any Carcassonne player. Well, now it's pretty easy. I mean, what Black is going to do, he's just going to take 4 points. Because what Yellow is going to do, he's going to take 4 points because this is the maximum that is available. And unless players are hiding tiles in sleeves, there are no more tiles to be played. And I believe this game should be won narrowly by Yellow, despite the fact that Black is ahead 13 points on the scoreboard. Yeah, you look at Yellow is clapping. He has calculated everything in his mind. Maybe they're now... Oh, look, they're probably hugging, as you can see from their legs. I still want to see the score being counted before confirming it's official, but it looks like we are about to have a new Catalan national champion. Okay, it's going to be pretty close. So 13 points is the scoreboard lead, but then there's just so many for cities. Yeah, let's do that. 15 for here. Yeah, and Yellow's already ahead. 7 for the monastery, though. But there's 7 for another city. This is a 15-point field for Yellow. This is quite lucrative. Yeah, and look at this. It's not going to be that big of a point difference. 8 points. 8 points is the difference. So, yeah, I wonder what could have happened. I think the way that Dani could have won this game is maybe if he were to draw 2 city caps to get 2 meeples back, or 1 city cap and 1 crossroads, and then he might have won this narrowly. But he didn't. And as a result, the play with the yellow meeples and the relatively new expert in the Catalan competitive scene is now the national champion. Huge congratulations to Quim Ventura and everybody who was rooting for him. But yeah, thank you all for correcting me in the chat that the field is actually 18 points, not 15 points. I think I missed this here little city. Let me just circle all the 6 cities. So first of all, I really want to point out some of the beautiful moves played here by the player with the yellow meeples. So first of all, yellow was kind of losing on the scoreboard. Then he found this here sequence, which allowed him to not only catch up on the scoreboard, but also bring an extra castle into his city. That was a way to score 10 points with just 2 tiles, and that allowed a lot of very good board vision. Then this here move, and this was recognizing that Dani's meeple were stuck in other features. And so yellow had temporary meeple advantage, and by going over here and temporarily sacrificing a couple of points, he created an attacking platform, which he later used to capture this 15-point city, which ended up being game-winning, or around 15 city. It doesn't matter really exactly. Then there were a bunch of other options, like very nicely protecting his roads and so on. So this appears to have been really, really well played by the player with the yellow meeples. A bit of bad luck Dani as well. I think probably all of us would have enjoyed watching a decider. Yeah, not getting this road meeple back perhaps was a bit of something. But again, even if Black were to have gotten 1 meeple back a little bit earlier, I think he would have fallen short just like 1 or 2 points. Because the value of a meeple is slightly less than 8 points in a position like this. It's probably around 6 points. So yeah, just very creatively played by yellow. Also to point out that yellow managed to procure both major features, secure both major features, the 18-point field and the 15-point city with the minimum majority. Now we can see many hands of many players going all over their position, discussing the merit of each individual moves. Yeah, so this tile was picked up, kind of pointing out this beautiful road find. Very, very nice board vision here, and possibly the game-winning move for yellow. Something is being pointed out so aggressively that it a bit damages the road monastery. I think it just points out that Dani had a chance to recover a meeple in 4 places, but didn't get any of those recovery tiles. Oh, yeah, this is quite interesting. Very interesting opportunity to try and set up some field invasions. Yeah, I'm not sure if that was necessary though for either party, because I think both players' winning strategies were quite reasonable, right? So yellow went for the big features, and Dani, having the advantage on the scoreboard, kind of just started scoring smaller features. And really, at the end of the day, just the lack of city caps, that's what made it difficult. Anyway, very, very interesting second game. And let me just check real quick if I have any additional information from the organizers. All right, so I'm saying that that's it. I'm going to be wrapping up the stream very shortly. Again, congratulations to the new champion, Quim Ventura. Let me actually just show his photo on screen so that y'all know who you've been rooting for. I'm going to lose the footage for a second, just never mind that. I don't think there's going to be anything else. Yeah, so here he is. Wait, let me just try and do this like this. Yeah. No, nope. Yeah, there we go. That's him. Between Pere, Vives and yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, anyway, now I've shown you how all the 4 semifinalists look like, including our champion in the middle. Then I also want to... Yeah, there we go. Now we're back. No, we aren't. No, we aren't. So let me just get the footage back. Yeah, so this... we now don't have footage for the table, so let me just show again the photo from Seu D'Urgell, which is the city where the championship is happening. I want to thank a lot the entire Catalonian community, first of all, for everything that they did for the international Carcassonne scene, and for training up players, and for creating, you know, the Carcassonne Players Guide, the resources, organizing the European and the World Team Carcassonne Online Championships, and all those things, and organizing this stream as well. And specifically, personal thank you to Nuria Casanovas and David Bourdois, who have been doing the technical work behind the scenes. And of course, thank y'all for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.